Hello, it's Chris from Cricut. Welcome to Cricut 101. We're so glad you're here. So we conceived of this series because we know a lot of people who are buying Cricut machines these days don't have a lot of experience with crafting or with our brand. And that's a little different than before. We had a lot of people that were very into crafting just a few years ago that were buying our machines, and now as the brand is broadening, we're getting people coming in who don't have design experience. And so we thought Cricut 101 could meet them kind of where you are, starting your Cricut learning journey. And the way this will work is after this brief intro, I'll go into some pre-recorded content. And today the topic is 3 ways to make in Design Space. Other days, and this series will go through early January, we'll go through unboxings, we'll go through specific materials, and every project that we go through in Cricut 101 is particularly curated for beginner level proficiency. So if you're brand new to the brand, this is a great place to be. And one other thing I'll note before we dive into my pre-recorded video is this will all be archived on the official Cricut YouTube channel under Cricut 101. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with 3. Okay, here I am on the home screen of Design Space. I'm going to stop that for a second. Sorry about that. Just to back up, the home screen of Design Space, and I've stopped the video, is our design software. And this is how you actually get in and design projects. And what I did in the beginning there was, all I hit was new project. And now we're at a place called the canvas. And the canvas is where design happens in Design Space. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play again. And we're going to go over to the left-hand side of that Design Space canvas and touch projects. And these are all ready to make projects. This is a very common way to make, and a great way if you're a beginner, because there is beginner level instruction. You can tell exactly what you'll need for each project, and there's even a time commitment for how long it's going to take. So you can see every one of these squares is a ready to make project. And we're going to go ahead and click into one just so you can kind of see what we mean by ready to make. I'm going to click into that t-shirt. You can see at the top, this Back to Homeschool t-shirt has an easy level, less than 30 minutes. It's got a description kind of wrapping up the project. It's got some photos at the top. And then what materials you'll need, everything you'll need is right there. And as you go down, there's instruction, including preparation. There's some tips in there. What you're going to do in terms of step-by-step instruction to cut and assemble your project as well. And at the bottom there's some links to our YouTube site and our help. So this is a great way to start because the instructions are all right there. So we're going to go back and look at another specific project and actually go in as if we were going to make this project. Although this will be more of a Design Space demo. What we're going to do is just kind of show you how easy it is to get into a ready to make project. And you can see there's all kinds of ways to look for them. You can scroll through and browse, but I just put pun in the search bar because I knew this shirt was in there. And you can see there's all the instructions are right there: preparation, cut, assembly. And I'm just going to hit that green button at the bottom to make this project. You could see we're here at what we call the cut screen, and I'm going to just pause for 1 second here. So what I just did, if you look at the very left-hand side of the screen, it's called mirror. And if you noticed, you could see that the letters became kind of backwards on the cutting mat there. The middle of the screen is depicting the cutting mat. So what that does is basically set you up to do a iron-on design for a t-shirt, because you're going to want to print it so it looks backward from the front, and then when it comes out it's going to actually be readable frontwise. So the way you do that with iron-on projects or infusible ink, which is another heat transfer project, product that we have developed, you always want to mirror. So that's a very, very common beginner level mistake that I have made many times. So I'm going to go ahead and start that up again. And you can see you're always just following these prompts that are green. And in the bottom of the screen here, it says to continue. And here we are selecting our base material. In this case, I've got everyday iron-on. Whoops. I didn't realize that stopped so fast. So I'm gonna pause again, but really you go through the selection process there, and you follow the green prompts, and you're pretty much done. There's not a lot of design to do if you just hit make it in a ready to make project. The second way I want to teach you how to make out of the three in this program is customizing a ready-to-make project. And this is a good idea if you want to do something like change the size of a project, or change the color of a project, or add in some images, or maybe different level font, different kind of font. So it's still giving you the step-by-step instructions, but it's a way to kind of jump in and personalize a little bit. So this is still really a beginner level function, customizing a ready-to-make project, but it's maybe a step beyond just hitting that make it and doing a ready-to-make project. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play again. And we're going to go back to Design Space and customize that same Bad Puns t-shirt, which I think is funny. I've got a few of these at home. So we're going to go back in and hit Customize at the bottom instead of the green button. And here, I'm going to click on the image. And you can see at the top, I can change the color. And in the bottom right, that's called the bounding box that I'm grabbing right there. I'm going to pause it for a second. This is what I'm doing to change the size of this project. So in the bottom right-hand corner of that Bad Puns, That's How I Roll, I'm using the cursor in my mouse to grab that bounding box, and it changes the size of the image proportionally. So it's not going to scrunch it up. It's actually very easy to do, but you know, if you're not familiar with design software, you might not know that. So I just wanted to point that out. So I'm going to make that a little bigger, and I'm going to stop it one more time because I forgot to mention that there is a grid on this canvas. We call this the canvas, where you're doing the design in Design Space, that has measurements on it. And these correspond to a grid on your cutting mat as well. So it can be very easy to measure, whether you're using centimeters or inches, how far across the t-shirt you want to go. So one way to know if you want to customize a project is perhaps you have like a smaller t-shirt. Like in a subsequent episode, I'm going to make a t-shirt for my 5-year-old. And most of these are not for 5-year-olds. They're a little bit bigger. So I would hit customize and use this bounding box functionality on the right-hand bottom corner to make that a little bit smaller so it can fit on my t-shirt. And I could even measure the front of the t-shirt and correspondingly measure across using that grid what I'm going to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and start that one more time. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add an image into this ready-to-make project. Again, customizing. And this really shows the kind of, and I'm going to stop this for a second, just the creative beauty of Cricut. So, you know, ready-to-make projects are great. You can go in, you can make something very quick, accomplish something very professional looking. But adding something like this in, I'm just putting some eyes in to kind of add to the pun motif, is really, for me, the beauty of Cricut, which is you can personalize and customize in a way that nobody else may ever do. And it's very easy. So in this case, I'm just adding some eyeballs into this, and I'm going to turn them blue as well. So it's just going to be one cut on one mat. And so we're kind of playing a little double entendre on this pun here, and just customizing this ready to make. Oh, I just did something there that I want to make sure you know what I'm doing. And that was, I put my cursor on the edge of that image, and I put a box around it. And what I did after that was I hit attach in the lower right. And you can rewind and go back after this is on demand to see that. But the way that works is it makes all that stuff that's on the canvas, the words and the eye image, one image that can be cut on one mat. So when it does go to the cut mat, which is where we're at now, the cut screen, it's going to just be one image. So again, I just used my cursor to put a box around my eyes and my bad puns. That's how I roll. And then I touched attach in the bottom right to get that to go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start again. Now we're going to hit mirror again, just like we did before, and you can see it will go backwards because we're mirroring this iron-on. And now we're at number 3. So this is really a way to customize a project from scratch. And so again, this goes to the creativity that is possible in the Design Space platform. So let's go ahead and just see how you can customize your own project without going into necessarily a ready-to-make. Okay. There we go. We're back on the home screen of Design Space. I'm going to click New Project on the left side. And here, I'm going to click the T for text. And I'm going to write in that same phrase from the t-shirt in that box. And now I'm going to use the bounding box to make it a little bit smaller. You can see we're just creating from scratch here, which is really fun. So I'm going to make it orange. I happen to have some orange iron-on, perhaps. And I'm going to go up to the top under fonts. I'm really going to think about what I want that font to look like. So there's a ton of fonts loaded into Design Space at the top. And it's really interesting to go through and kind of try them out. There's no commitment as you're going through. You can try anything you want and change it very easily, but you can start to see how you want your text to work. Here I'm going to go to Images in that left-hand toolbar, and again look for my eyes. You can see what I'm trying to do here is kind of come up with my own pun t-shirt here without any ready to make. And it's really a very creative process. So I'm going to go ahead and select that eye. It's on my canvas and that looks a little big, so I'm going to, oh, and sorry, this is the next thing I'm doing. I'm going in, what I did, let me stop that for a minute. I don't want to go too fast. So what I did is I clicked on the lettering, and in the box, the text box that shows up, what I'm doing is making some space to fit that eye in, as you can see here. Just use the space bar. Now I'm going to make the eye smaller using the bounding box and put it up there. So pretty cool. We've got our own little pun t-shirt that's a custom approach. And what I did just there, I'm going to pause it one more time, is I went into that text box again. I first clicked on the letters, went into the text box, and then hit excuse me, return to bring it down. And now I have 2 levels of text because I want it to fit on a t-shirt and it was just getting a little bit too long. I'll hit play again. Now I'm going to make that eye just a little bit smaller. And this is really the fun part. You're kind of arranging things. It's very creative and it's really not that hard once you kind of see how it works. And just to encourage you to go in and play with this. You're not going to hurt anything. Really the best way to learn Cricut is to learn by doing. That's how we all did. So what I'm doing there is I went to the top under alignment and I hit the align vertically button at the top. So that's going to kind of center my text in there. So there's all kinds of little tools in that toolbar at the top of the screen to do things like center your text. I'll hit play again. Now I'm going to look for another image because I see another opportunity for some more fun with this pun. So I'm going to just put a little rolling pin in there. You can see I had a lot of options to pick from in the Design Space window there. And I'm using Cricut Access, which is a subscription that you can purchase with your machine, and it gives you access to over 100,000 images. It's really good for beginners because you have all these images at your fingertips. So I'm going to pause that really quick. You can see what I did was I just moved that roller into place, and you can see I'm finishing the pun here with some images. And now I'm going to make them all the same color. That will allow me to cut all of this on one mat. Do some more arranging here. It's looking like a fun t-shirt. And you can see I can change the color if I wanted to. I can make the rolling pin a different color. And again, I'm going to pause that really quick. So what I did there is I put a box around the whole thing, and I'm going to click attach again. And that's going to allow this to be one image that goes on a t-shirt and on one mat. So just using your cursor to go around it and then click attach at the bottom right. Making sure the size is right here. And I just detached it because I wanted to move the rolling pin around a little bit. So what I did there was, I'm going to pause it again, I put the cursor up and around all of the text and the images and put a box around the whole shebang, and then I went to detach in the bottom right-hand corner because it wasn't arranged quite how I wanted it to be. So I wanted to put that rolling pin down by the eyeball. And when I want to print it, go ahead and put it on the cut screen and start to make my t-shirt, I'll hit attach again. You can see I have to kind of do some cleanup on the text here. I'm just moving that over, just arranging it, kind of thinking how this is going to appear on a t-shirt. Again, I didn't want it to go all the way across from arm to arm. I thought it would be better in 3 levels here. And again, change the eye if you want. You can even change the image. You can really get creative here. I'm just putting in a roll into the search bar and just seeing what comes up. This is really one of the fun things about Cricut Access is there are so many images to choose from. So you can see there's a lot of things related to roll, whether it's a hot dog bun or some dice. Some dice might be fun. So you can see where I'm going here. I'm going to make that a little smaller. So this could be another approach for your own custom t-shirt. And this is really a beginner level project you can do very quickly after you buy your machine. It's really about getting in, trying things out. And this is really the fun part of Cricut to me is this custom. I'm going to pause that one more time just so you know. What I did was I put a box around it and I attached on the bottom right because I'm about to make this project. But this is the fun part. The custom building to me is really all about the creativity of Cricut in Design Space. Okay, so we are ready to make this, and I would just hit continue, and that's it. That is the end of that part of the presentation. So, make sure that is off, and that's it. So I'm going to just check and see. It looks like I've got a few comments. That's awesome. Oh, you guys are weighing in. Sorry, I'm a one-man show here. I wasn't looking at my comments, but it looks like we're getting some awesome help from my buddy Hannah, who is Official Cricut in the back. So go ahead and ask any question you want here. Let's see. Multiple devices. Okay. Is there a way to copy in one design and then paste in another design? I'm going to let Hannah answer that question. Okay. Cricut machine bundles, Black Friday. Awesome. Just got my Cricut Joy today. Yoshi, congratulations. That is awesome. Hi, Nadia. Great. Hi, JJ. That's awesome. So thank you guys so much for showing up. Again, this will be archived under Cricut 101 on the Official Cricut YouTube channel. I'm Chris. I will be back with many more of these before January 8th. And we're so glad you're here. We'll talk to you soon.